A very good evening, Prasad. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to help our students and throw some light on the subject that you've become an expert now, a subject that you're passionate about, and you're helping so many and transforming lives. So amazing to see you. Take time from your corporate world to do something to give back to the society.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meera. It's my pleasure to be here and thank you for inviting me. I'm really looking forward to add value to each and every one on the call today and also who will be listening to this later. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, great, great. Thank you. So, a little bit of backstory from you, from your mouth, from the horse's mouth. So,
Yeah.
having such a, I would say, a successful career in the corporate world and coming from prestigious colleges, IIM, and all that, what is this you're doing that trying to impact lives and all this? Yes, I want to understand.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an interesting story which I'll share. So, just to share the moment which helped me change the needle. It was on one morning. I was actually working in consulting as a consultant, which means you'll have to work to your client location, and mostly it's Monday to Friday. So on one fine Monday morning, I was just traveling to the airport, and in Bangalore, it's 60 kilometers from my home. So it's like a nap that I usually take early in the morning when I go to the airport. And on this one specific day, unfortunately, I was sleeping while going to the airport, and the driver also dozed off in between. And suddenly, the car actually dashed over the barricade and it moved into the other side of the road in Bangalore, like airport highway. And you can imagine all the cars just going, I mean, average is 100 plus. And suddenly this happening. And I was sleeping, and suddenly when I woke up, I realized that the driver is out of control and the car is very shaky and it is on the other side of the lane. Unfortunately, the couple of cars which was heading opposite in the opposite direction, they realized something is going wrong and then they stopped, and therefore few other cars stopped and nothing happened either to me or to the driver. But then the next moment, I just got out of the car. I looked at the watch. I looked at, do I have enough time to catch the flight? I didn't have. So I just crossed over to the other road. And then I looked at some of the cars which stopped to see. I asked one of the car for a lift, and then I boarded the cab and then I left. After going to the airport, I realized I didn't even take a minute to talk to the driver and then see what I mean. As I went to the situation, I didn't pay attention to the emotions and the situations of the driver. That is very unusual of me. So I realized that something is changing in my own self. And the other question that I asked is, if something bad has happened today in my life, would I have been happy with what I have done so far in my life? And these two questions made me think that entire flight I kept on. I mean, something made me very uncomfortable with the way that I'm leading my life. At the same time, how as a person, this corporate world is changing me without me making notice of it. And that's primarily because of the workload, the pressure, and I was not connected to the work also. Like I was not looking forward to what I was doing, and that is where thought I need to do something which is more meaningful, which is close to my heart. On that day, I decided that it should not be the same as I lived my life so far. And then I realized, why did this happen? That happened because I did not take the right choices in my career. I will talk more about it when I explain some of the details as examples. But throughout my career, I left my choices to circumstance, like whatever was available to me at that point. I said, okay, even as you said, I graduated from IIM Ahmedabad. Everybody say wow when they listen, but I didn't have a strategy or vision to it. So studying in such reputed organization, institution, or in working in any reputed organization, if there's no clear vision and line of sight and that connectedness, then it doesn't make sense. So when I realized all these things, then I thought, let me help the youngsters to understand these mistakes right from this time when they are building their career, when they are starting the first few steps towards their career. And that is a reason why I started this mindful career parenting movement, where I work with teenagers and young graduates to help them avoid the mistakes that I did, become more matured in this process, and have clarity and confidence and conviction in how they're taking their career forward. So that's briefly about my journey and the incident which made me rethink how I should be leading my career and life forward.
Amazing, amazing. So it does happen. So some incidents trigger our thoughts and we start wondering what is life all about? Are we doing the right thing? Have we made the right choices? Yes, I understand. So, but on the other hand, I feel, I mean, it's not just your life. I mean, everybody does the same, isn't it? Like whatever choices are available in front of them, what the parents ask them to do, what do these students even have the maturity, or I would also say, is it even practical to say, okay, this is what I want to do? But who knows? I mean, what market has to offer, what life has to offer. So, how does one go about doing this?
That's a very valid question, and the question many people ask these days. So I'll take an example to ask. Like, we go to a restaurant, right? And then the moment we go to a restaurant, we just go and sit and we eat anything that the waiter provides to our table. No, right? Is
We
there
choose,
anyone in
we
this?
choose. There's a menu in
Yeah.
front of us. We choose. In
Yes.
fact, we'll even read the reviews and then go and say, okay, what am
Yes.
I going to eat?
Yes. And not only with that, even when you go and buy a new dress, you just don't go and then take a pack which is already packed for you and then you come out, right? You go see everything and then you read the reviews, try it out, and then you pick the dress that you want. So earlier, the options were limited, and people knew that, okay, if I'm getting into engineering, this is what it more or less will be like. Or if I'm getting into medicine, this is what more or less it will be like. And at that point, like going to a South Indian restaurant and we know the menu has only idli, dosa, and vada, pongal, then we don't have to look at the menu. We go and then say, okay, I need one plate idli vada. That is how we used to do, right? Even at that point, many people like me, I mean, chose wrong careers and all those things. But now, if you see, menu has 500 items,
Absolutely.
menu has 1,000 items, and the
You
same.
can be an influencer, you can be a gamer, anything. I
Yes,
mean, I've been reading. We are trying to help students with their entrepreneur journey and trying to how they can discover themselves, discover their strengths,
yes,
and what are the different things they can do. Because see, all said and done, we know the market is not great right now, the job market. So the students have to do something to fend for themselves and say, okay, what is it that I can do? What is, if they work on their strengths, there is something that they can do. And if they work on their passion, I'm sure they can enjoy the whole journey and also make it really good for themselves.
I totally agree. And that is one piece of the puzzle, which is the job market is not very bright and there are too many options. At the same time, if you see even many of the students, graduates who are here, they would also relate to. They are not someone who will just get into any job without understanding what this job is going to be like, how it aligns with my requirements, be it financial, be it work-life balance, or be it the opportunities that I get. So the students also more keen to select, not just go with what is available. Like going back to the example of restaurant. So because of this, the need for career planning is getting a lot more important in the current era. And it's just because it's important, people are not doing it. Even the students are feeling the need to do it. Like I've been interacting with students from standard 8. When I started this, when I shared my idea with people, people used to ask, like, what would a 8th standard student would do? Now I can give you a lot of examples where 8th standard student are able to identify, okay, do I need to get into what's my interest area? Do I need to set up my career in the field of biology or do I need to set up my career in the field of psychology? At least that level of clarity they are able to get. And the clarity will continue to evolve as you go through this journey. It's not that we will have a complete blueprint at this point. Like even uh, students who are here, whatever clarity they are seeking, it's only for the next 2 to 3 years. Once they get into that job, they lot more opportunities will open for them. So then they'll have to be able to decide what they need to do at that point. But if you're not, it's again like Google Map. If you have to go from point A to point B, we need to know which is the route that we need to take. So for that, we need to know which is point B, which we need to go, what is point A, where we are, what are my current strengths, and therefore what are all the options I have to move from point A to point B. And they'll have to take one step at a time. And once they move to point, I mean, let's say midpoint, they will have two more options opening up to go to point B. So that is how the clarity evolves over a period of time. And therefore it is important, is what I would like to emphasize.
So my another question is, you're saying they start as early as eighth grade. My students, they're all already, they've got into different professional courses. Okay, they're in engineering and they're in other maybe masters and stuff like that, even bachelors. So are we late?
Yeah. So
And
I
how
would
what do we
say,
do now? I mean, the place
yeah,
where we are.
yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, like even students, as I said, who are in eighth, ninth, when they have an initial plan, when they come to 10th, they'll have to reevaluate it because things are changing very fast. By the time they come to 11th and 12th, again, things are changing very fast. Likewise, people who are in graduation, whatever plan they had at that point, now they need to look at how that is shaping up, and then they'll have to start again. So, as I said, at each point, we'll have to take a certain decision which is related to how we build our career. Certain decisions are already taken for this group by them. That is why they have moved until graduation point. What we need to focus at this point, not to look back and then say, okay, I have taken this decision which has worked out for me or not worked out for me, and then focus on that. Instead of that, I would
Moving
say,
forward. Mm.
moving forward from this point, what are the options available to me? What is the best option that will suit me? And if people think they want to completely change their group or completely change their profession, it's very much possible in these days. As I always say, like, for example, I did my MBA and I work in a consulting. Now I work in a bank. But parallelly, I'm passionate about this. And as you said, I'm doing this in parallel as a portfolio, which means someone who has any skill, any talent, any knowledge, which is valuable in the market, people are ready to pay for it, they can start. So it's not that I need to focus on only one thing and I need to figure out in that. Options are available in the same journey, options are available in the journeys otherwise as well. All what they need to do is just start thinking and then paying attention to it. So, therefore, in summary, this is the right time to take certain choices and decisions on the way forward, and not to look back and then say, oh, I have done this, I have done that, and therefore my life is like this.
Great, great. So with all this context setting now, I will leave it to you fully to take over and just throw some light on this whole topic. So what does one do? How do they go about?
Sure, definitely. So
You
before
want
I
to you
start,
want to share some screen or something? Or
yes, I'll share my screen.
okay, I'll just give you access. Yes, please.
Yeah. So before I start sharing, uh, people who are here, how many of you are in engineering background? Can you raise your hands? Or you put it in the chat box. What's your specialization within
Yeah, yeah. Go
engineering?
ahead. Put it in the chat box. What all are you studying, each one of you? Niranjan is
Great.
in engineering and Devamma is in engineering. The others, put it.
So put your graduation stream, Bachelor's of
Bachelor of Commerce.
Commerce. Great. B.
Aditya, Pavan, Dhanyashri,
Artificial
B.Tech.
Intelligence and Machine Learning,
Harshita.
Commerce. Okay, great. So far, I see primarily into two, commerce and engineering. Now, how many of you have some clarity on what is the way forward for you, or you're absolute? If you have some clarity, you put yes in the chat box. If you're not responding, then I'll assume that yeah, you're not clear, you don't have any clarity and you're confused. No. Okay. Okay. Great. So I see combination of yes and no. For people who have some clarity, what I'm going to share will help you validate that and will give you ideas how to take that forward. For people who do not have any clarity, this is going to be very helpful, where you can start taking the actions one by one that I'll be sharing, and then you can progress on this journey. So I'll share my screen now. Is my screen
Yeah,
visible?
yeah, yes, yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to share is all about how you can choose your career and achieve what you desire. And I'll be talking to you the exact steps that you need to take to make it happen. So this is a framework which I have developed basis my experience. I'll tell you one story here as well. So when I started preparing for CAT, I'll tell you how that happened. So after my undergraduation, I got a job in Caterpillar, which is I studied in production engineering, which
Your
is related to mechanical.
undergrad, what did you do and where did you do?
Yeah. So I did my production engineering, which is a substream within mechanical engineering. And I did this at MIT, Madras Institute of Technology, which is one of the Anna University colleges in Chennai. And after that, I got into Caterpillar and I worked there for 2 years. And Caterpillar being a US based company, they don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. So I had ample time with me. And then I was thinking what to do next. I saw everyone was preparing for CAT. So I thought, let me go and prepare for it. So I went ahead and I prepared. And then I appeared for exam because friends, everyone said, okay, let's just go and then do it. Some of my friends were preparing for it seriously, but I was just attending the classes and I was just going and I gave my test. Fortunately, I got good percentile and I got calls from A, B, and few other IIMs. And then once I got the call, I gave my best for interview preparation, and then I cracked A and B, and then I went into A. But then after 3, 4 years, if I asked like why did I do MBA, I didn't have an answer because everyone did, I just went and did. So and because of that decision, I got into certain jobs, certain professions where I couldn't connect with the work. And hence I had to take a detour and then do something along with that to meet my personal desires and fulfillment. So what I'm trying to say is the framework is based on all the mistakes that I did, which you need to avoid. And not only that, I looked at people who are very successful, who are very happy in their professions, and what did they do? And then I have developed this framework. So I'm going to take you through this framework, but this is not just theory. There are certain specific actions and specific examples that I will share. And I want you to replicate this after the session so that your clarity and your direction evolves over the next few days and weeks. Yeah. So the first part of the steps is stream deep dive. So as I mentioned earlier, like when you go to restaurant or when you buy any product, like some of you, if you're buying your phone, mobile phone, we first understand what are the models available, what are the features, what do we need. When we do that for all the basic stuff, we tend to compromise on that when it comes to our career planning. So what we need to do is focus more on this particular aspect. Within the streams that you have chosen, what are the currents and evolving specializations? What are the future trends? And in which area there is demand for professionals? And you need to start thinking at least 5 years from now. Not beyond that, because technology continues to evolve and roles are reshaping. But at least 5 years from now, what are the few things? Like if you take within mechanical renewable energy, that is a space that is getting a lot of attention. Like if you take computer science or AI, cybersecurity, or the advanced levels of AI modeling, all of those are getting a lot of traction. So you need to understand what are these specializations. I've given a sample here, which is I've taken business management as a sample. I'll show some more examples. But if you see business management, there are multiple things that you can specialize within business management. And all of these will lead you into a set of career options. Without knowing what are the different specializations that is available and where my interest is, it's very difficult to choose a career or a job. That is where I see many students struggle. So therefore, I'll just give you one example because I know some of you are in engineering. So if you take mechanical engineering, you need to understand what are the specializations. And if you see all of these specializations is current, it's not the past, it's the current or the future. If you see drone technology, or if you see 3D printing, or if you see renewable energy systems, or EV, electric vehicles, or technology around that, robotics, these are all the key things that are the current specializations and the things that are going to be alive for few more years by the time you get into the job market. So you need to start thinking from this perspective. When you enter the job market, you have the right skills which the industry is looking for. Okay. If you're going and looking at the skills that were relevant in the past, by the time you graduate, you would already be outdated. So therefore, look at the specializations and look at the future trends. Why are these specializations are emerging right now? What are the future trends? If I have to give you some example, you would already see how drones, like when we had Operation Sindhu, how drones were utilized, how Amazon is using drones for delivery. Then we have these uh, certain transport mechanism, like Bangalore has come up with this helicopter for travel to airport. So these low kind of transport mechanisms. And if you see mechanical and technology coming together with artificial intelligence and electronics, so these are all the future trends which are relevant for people who are specializing in mechanical. Likewise, if you see software, you can see multiple things. So some of the specializations that you see here are something that is already matured, like web development, mobile app development is already matured, and AI is creating a lot of revolution there. But there are certain things like cybersecurity, like creative technology. Someone, people who is interested in technology plus creative part of it, they can look at creative technology as a stream to specialize. So all of these specializations you need to be aware of and look at what are the future trends or potential in those. So if I have to take commerce, even within commerce, you have broad spectrum of options. Like you can get into, obviously, when I ask people, they will say CA as the first one. There are other options, which their certifications are on Sequit, company secretary, financial analyst, and all those things. You can also go into investment banking and other stuff. There are so many options and specializations within commerce that you can get into. You want to get into banking, then you focus on banking, or if you want to get into trade, you focus on trade, or if you want to get into business, you focus on business or accounting. So you have these specializations which you need to be aware of. So this is like the menu card. Okay. And this menu card is not a menu card which has come over few years. This is the latest and the relevant menu card that you have in your stream. So that is the first step. And what I would ask you to do, because you're already in graduation, you may have knowledge on some of these. So you can, I want you to focus on two actions. First is list down and explore all the specializations in your stream. Like someone said, artificial intelligence and machine learning. What are the substreams within that? Or someone said bachelor's of commerce. What are the specializations within that? And see which of those specializations are interesting for you and explore a little more about that. For this, you can do research, read about it. You can talk to your alumni in your colleges or your seniors, or you can participate in all the the conferences, all those things that happens in your colleges, or you can even do like you can leverage ChatGPT. You can go and ask ChatGPT like what are the future trends that are happening in this stream, and you can refer. So do all of those things and list down that, and also list down what are the 3 to 4 future trends that are relevant to your graduation stream, and you decide which one of those you would like to be part of. Like if you are someone who's interested in the space of let's say environmental science or environment, protecting environment, you would like to contribute to that, see how you can use your skills related to environment. Even from technology, you can do that. Even from mechanical, you can do that. Even like, for example, someone who's into journalism can do that. They can specialize in environment reporting and writing. So any stream you are in, you can contribute to these future trends. So pick what are those future trends and which one you like to be part of, and try to link how you can do that. So that's the first step, which is you're going deeper into the stream that you're already in. Clear? Any questions on this first step? If you're clear, put a thumbs up so that I know at least you're following through it and this is something that you're able to relate to. Okay, great. So now I'll move to the next step, which is once you know the specialization, the second one is, which is again the steps, which is track the career path. What are all the different jobs available related to those specializations? And if there are new specializations, what are the jobs that are emerging? How are they going to evolve in the long term? And what is the growth potential for that? These are the three key words I would emphasize in tracking the career path. To give an example here, renewable energy engineer. So what is the starting level? What is the mid level? What is the IIM? What are the different career options available within that? What is the education required? So you need to have a bit of clarity around that. So again, I'll take some examples here. So if I look at mechanical engineering, so basis the trends that I shared, like for example, if you take robotics. So entry level role, you could be a mechatronics engineer who will design all those things. Then robotics, then you can become a lead. Then you can become like a program manager or director of automation. So this is how your career could evolve over a period of time. And this will give you an idea of what are all the different career options and how the career could evolve over a period of time, right? Likewise, if you move to the next example, sorry, software engineer. So we know some career options which have been existing for quite some time. Like if you see software development, most of you might know because you are in that stream. But if you look at cybersecurity, or if you look at data science, or if you look at AI, ML, how things would evolve over a period of time. What are the different things that these people are expected to do? So that is something that you need to understand. This is like, again, going back to that Google Maps example. Now you have five, six destinations, and you need to understand what are these destinations and what are the paths available to go to those destinations. So this is again trying to understand the possibility. And from next step onwards, you will start filtering basis your interest. So the first two steps are like broadening, looking at all the options. First, look at the specializations, look at the future trends. Then second step is more putting that in the context of career. What are the jobs available? What are the careers that can grow in related to those specializations? And then once we have that foundation, we will start looking into the options that are you can pursue. So the key actions I recommend people to do for this stage is look at your LinkedIn. I'm sure all of you might be having your LinkedIn account and then profile. Go to LinkedIn, go to jobs. If you search by the specialization, you will see all the jobs that are being provided or offered currently. You can get to know the type of companies, the type of jobs that are available, or you can also go into Naukri and then see. But I would recommend LinkedIn. But if you have more time, you can also look into Naukri. Then once you select, okay, out of all the jobs that I looked, I see these are the jobs that are interesting to me, which are aligned to the specializations that I am interested in. So for example, someone who wants to look at cybersecurity as one of the interest areas and specialization, look at the jobs. See, these are the 4 or 5 jobs that I can see in the field of cybersecurity. These are the companies that are offering that. And um, select those based on your interest. The second thing is once you create all the jobs, then you select which are those that are interest to you and see how people are growing from that. For that, once you know the job role, you can go and put that job role. You can see people who are in that job role and see how they have taken their journey forward. What are the different companies they have worked on? What are the skills and experiences they have? So that is where you will get to know what are the options available in your specialization and how that career evolve over a period of time. Okay, these are the two specific actions with respect to the second step. Are we good to go to the next step? Okay. So the next step is now you need to have your strategy. So far, what you created is all the information available, and you can validate that by doing little more research. But the step three onwards is more driven by your interest. So here, what I typically recommend is you need to have a career plan which includes plan A, B, C. So what is my present stream? It may not be the role, but your present stream. What are the backup plans? And what are my other plans that I can consider for? Which is, as I said, broadening your scope. It's not that only within engineering, not that only within, let's say, commerce, but is there anything else that I could consider? Like, for example, someone who's interested, let's say, in the field of graphic designing and creativity and all those things. You can do certain certifications to be able to start some activities around that space. You can, when I say activities, you can even earn money out of it. You can monetize it. It's not that you're doing something to just learn or as a hobby. You can start doing it. And that is where I want to introduce this career portfolio. Has anyone heard of this concept called career portfolio? No? Okay. Have you heard of investment portfolio? Like, let me take another example. You, all of you have a set of dresses, right? You have some set of dress for any occasions like festivals. You have some set of dress for formal like colleges. You have some set of comfortable clothes for your evenings at home. So you have all of these different elements or items in your complete portfolio of dresses. Likewise, in investment, some people buy gold, some people invest in real estate, some people invest in stocks, some people invest in, let's say, Bitcoin. And if you see, not everyone will do everything. It depends on your interest, the risk that you can take, the the aspirations that you have. It is based on all of those things. Similarly, career portfolio is a group of options that career options that you're building for yourself. Okay. Like to give practical example, I am living my career portfolio because I'm still working in a bank as a management consultant, but I'm parallelly doing this. And over the weekends, I work with graduates, I work with teenagers to help them plan their career. And apart from that, I give keynote speeches and all those things. Now I'm also getting, I'm a creative person, so I'm getting trained on the graphic designing and all those things. So I want to build that as an additional skill, which at some point I can offer as a solution or product to the market. So I build all of these things basis my interest, my strength. So it's not purely driven by only what I learn in the graduation program. It also opens up opportunities based on my interest, my skills, alongside what I learn. So if I have to give here another example, let's assume this person is a software engineer and he is working in a company as a software engineer, but he is also interested in fitness. He's also interested in photography. So now what he is doing is, because he is a software professional and he is a fitness enthusiast, he is able to understand the problems of a software professional and able to come up with the right fitness products for software professionals. And he is able to monetize that because there are many software professionals who are able to maintain their fitness level, and they are going through a lot of health challenges. They are going through strokes and all those things at early stages. So now he is leveraging his skills and the expertise to create a monetization opportunity. Likewise, let's say he is interested in photography. Now he is building a software like AI model which will generate images because he knows the nuances of photography. So what I'm trying to say is all the skills, interests that you have, you need to continue to strengthen them so that you can find more opportunities to build different career options, which will help you to build your portfolio. I'll give you some examples which you'll be able to relate more. Have you seen these people anywhere in social media?
Yes. CL.
Yeah. So Dr. Pal is a gastroenterologist.
Yes.
He did his medicine. He was practicing in US and he's still practicing. But at the same time, he had a sense of humor and he was passionate to teach people. So he brought in the element of humor and his medical knowledge, and he started teaching people about the good health practices and mostly focused on eating habits. And he's conducting this Medcom stand-up comedy show. Would you ever imagine a doctor, a practicing doctor, not a doctor who studied and left his job, a practicing doctor going and doing a comedy show? No, right? So that is the portfolio. Now, tomorrow he may stop doing practicing, basically treating people, and he can move completely into comedy show and social media influencing and all those things. So that is what the career portfolio gives you as a benefit. And there are other examples as well. If you see Rachna, she was into teaching, she was a CA, and then now she is into social media influencing. And again, even now she goes and conducts sessions as part of SEBI and other authorities to create awareness around this. She does lot of things, which is again a portfolio. So why I'm sharing this, there are other examples, but conscious of time, I'll just give one example. This is what we created for a student. This is a live example. The student was interested in economics and he was into economics. And these are all the specializations that he was interested in. One is market research and data science. Then, as another option, he wants to get into accounting. He was into sports manage. I mean, he was a sports player and he was really enthusiastic about it. So he wants to get into sports management. And as a last option, he also wants to consider business management. These are all the options where you can get into a career only if you're qualified. But there are others like stock trading, event management. These are something that he had interest, he had the skills, and he had built those skills right from standard 9, 10. Like, for example, he used to invest some amount in stocks and then see, and then he started guiding his friends, parents, and then that is how he gained knowledge. Likewise, he is someone, any or function in his network, he's the go-to person to plan and organize it. So now he wants to use all of those to create different options. And all of these are the specializations and his skill-based options. And then he created what are the career options that he wants to consider. And this is where we picked up basis the foundation that was done in step one and step two. We were able to come up with these are all the specializations. These are all the career options. And out of these are all knowledge based career options, which means you need a qualification. But these are skill based, which means no one is going to ask you for your degree if you want to get into stock trading or event management. And that forms your career portfolio. So this is where you need to start moving because the future is very uncertain. You're thinking, okay, I will focus on only data scientists, and you prepare for the entrance exam. Suddenly, you're not able to meet the expectations to get into the college. What is the other option? At that moment, if you start thinking about that, you're already missing the bus. Because by the time you think and then you decide, okay, accountant is the second thing I want to do, the date for applying for accounting might be over. So that is where you need to have a portfolio of options, or in other words, plan A, B, C. But I want you to also focus on what are the skill based. I recommend any student to have at least two skill based. It could be anything. Basis what you have been focusing on so far. What are some areas that you're interested in, and then have a portfolio. This is something important. So I want to take a pause to see if there are any questions on this.
Guys, you have to answer.
Or or is everyone keen to create something like this for yourself?
Yes, sir. I am very
Okay.
keen to do. But the thing is, sir, what if it's like here only? If we see in that same picture, the we have listed as data scientist and accountant, which are
Mhm.
completely different fields. So now, see, if I am an engineer, if I want to become some other thing, how can I focus on both the things at the same time?
So that's a good question. Let me clarify to you. Whatever you find here, this is in the context of economics. Okay. So these are all the specializations or options when you do economics as your undergraduation. Likewise, if you're in engineering, you need to come up with what are all the different engineering options that you could pursue. And some could be even outside of engineering. But like as you can see here, you can do sports management. Even after engineering, you can do post graduation in sports management if you are someone who's really interested. And that is where, if I have to give you example, this guy picked up sports analytics as the area because he wants to do something in the field of technology. So he wants to build something in the field of someone who's in engineering. After engineering, you want to do something in the field of sports, at the same time use your technology background, then you can get into sports analytics because that is an area which is growing at the moment. Or you can look at business management and then see what you can do. So likewise, you have to pick options which are relevant to the graduation that you are in. So this is an example, and for economics all these options are available.
So can we create one for Niranjan right now? Because he is in the cusp of this, he's in his final year. And isn't it Niranjan? You're in final year, no?
Yes, ma'am. Just completed final year last month.
Okay, great. So you have, what did you do in your graduation?
Sir, I'm an
Engineering, which en
computer science engineer.
Okay, so let's understand what are the specializations you are aware of within after computer science.
Data science,
Hmm.
data analytics,
Hmm.
cyber security, AIML, software
Hmm.
development, which I am into.
Okay,
So these are the fields which I'm in.
okay. And out of these, what are your top choices?
So my top choice is software development.
Okay. And what are the other options? Like top choice is software development, but if you have to create something like this, what could be a one, two, three?
Sir, actually that is a mistake which I have done. So I have kept one more option as cloud computing. I have
Okay.
focused only on these two and nothing else.
Okay. But it's not too late. So that's where what I would recommend you to do is go from step one, two, three. Like step one, you already have clarity on these specializations, which I showed as well. If I go back to that slide, but within that, you need to look into you picked up the first part and the third part out of this, which is software development and the cloud engineering. But would you like to see what are the future trends? Do you want to get into like a data analyst role, or you want to get into a cybersecurity role? Because cybersecurity again comes in the post graduation. There's no cybersecurity specialization in undergraduation at the moment. So if you want to get into that, or you can do certain certifications around those areas if you're open to that. So that's where you need to create what is your top one, two, three, and pick up what are the career options that you can aim within that. So that is the column here in green. So once you have that clarity, then you will be able to play with it. But that is number one. The second thing is you need to think little broader, not just in the field of computer science. What are the other areas that you can contribute to? When I say other areas, it again depends on your interest. That's why you need to look more about what you have done in the past. For example, technology, as I mentioned earlier, are you someone who's creative? Then explore creative technologies. Do you know what creative technology is? If not, so it's primarily all your virtual reality, augmented reality, the gaming. So that's where the creative part, but mostly done in the technology. So if I have to tell you, this is one area which is expected to grow in India because this is already at advanced stage in the Western markets, but they would like to do it at a low cost. So they are planning to outsource this to India. And because of that, even government is going to set up like IITs. They have made a plan to launch Indian Institute of Creative Technology. These are all the information which you need to capture to see, okay, this is an area that is expected to grow. And I am a creative person. Can I pick that as a specialization? So I would put option 3 as creative technology. Then you can go and do some certifications and then see what option or career that you can choose there and then pursue that. So I just gave few thoughts for you to start. So let me highlight here. So the first two options.
From what I know, Niranjan is a people's person. His
Okay.
communication is pretty good, and he's lived in Ramakrishna Ashram, so he does a lot of events, management, and stuff like that. Uh, these are some things that I know about him.
Okay,
I
got
read a
it.
lot of books. I read books. I do watch current affairs every day. I keep updated in that. Uh,
Hmm.
I do play chess.
Okay. Great. So then think in those areas like reading books, what you can, how you can apply technology in that area. What is the demand? What people are looking for? I'll give you one example. There are many apps which came in recently into the market which give summary of the books. Okay. Now you need to go and see, look at those companies, see what they're doing because you read a lot of books, you have that knowledge. And is that something that you can contribute in that area? And then try to explore that career path. So that is where, as I said, in a portfolio, you need to apply your expertise plus all the other interests that you have, which will open up a lot more opportunities for you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if I have to again do this for you, the first one will be, as you said, software development, cloud computing. Then you will have, let's say, data science or um, what was the creative technology? You can have creative technology here. So like that, creative technology is little broader, not pure technology career, but it is little a combination of creativity plus technology. Then here you can have book reading, and here you can have your event management, and then see what career options you can do in the combination of technology, and then you can create a portfolio like this.
Sure, sir.
Okay, fine. I hope that helped and gave a lot more clarity to others as well. So the reason for doing this is it gives you flexibility, and at some point you feel, okay, I have hit the block in your option one or in your path one, you don't have to stumble there. You can focus on your path two and path three, and then you can explore more opportunities. So that is the main benefit of building a portfolio like this. Okay. So moving on to the next step. So here, as we did, I want you to build a portfolio with clear plan ABC that is aligned to your interest and skills as we discussed so far. Okay. So now moving on to the next step, which is prepare for opportunities. Now, okay, these are my options A, B, C. This is my portfolio. That's when your actual preparation starts, which means what are the skills that are required and how do I upskill on this? How do I become future ready? So here, there are two aspects to it. One is the technical skills and the other is the professional skill. Let me ask you a question. Someone is very strong in software development but unable to communicate at all. Do you think that person will be able to go in the career? Not really, right? because communication is very important in any career or any profession that you choose today. And that is the reason I know Meera is also doing this in the space of communication, because for anyone in this call, whatever you want to do, one of the foundation is communication. And not just communication. There are a few other professional skills that are becoming important these days. So you need to understand what are the technical skills, what are the professional skills, and other skills that you can own. You need to first understand that. Like, for example, someone who's in cybersecurity. So you can look at what is network security, what is ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is, like, I'll give you an example. Like, you have unethical hacking right now. Like, some hacker is coming and hacking your system. To prevent that, the companies are building their own security. But someone needs to go and check that, right? Someone needs to go and test if that security that we have in the organization will prevent us from being exposed to an unethical hacker. For that, you need ethical hackers. And this is because of cyber risk and because of data security, this is becoming an important area. So you need to know, okay, then I need to learn a little more about ethical hacking. So then there is a certification. You can search about what certifications I can do as a ethical hacker. Go and then do that certification. And once you do that certification, once you have that in your profile, then the chances of you being eligible to a role in cybersecurity is higher. So that's where you need to focus. I'm not saying pick 10 skills and focus on it. No. Based on your plan, your first preference should be your plan A or the first choice. Following that, plan B and plan C. Focus on what skills, and at least you should do a couple of certifications or real-time experiences or some projects in those areas. And you can use a lot of Udemy, Coursera, and Udacity. There are a lot of platforms to which you can enroll. Some of them are free, some of them charge a nominal fee for you to learn and get certified. But these things something that you can do to upskill. So this will help you to prepare for the opportunities. And as I mentioned, on you have to focus on the technical as well as the professional skills. Like communication, as I already mentioned, but the other things are your personal brand, how you are presenting yourself, storytelling, how you're able to present a presentation with the right key messages, how you're able to engage in a teamwork. These are all some of the things which are becoming important. So you can also get into, I know you all are working with Meera on the communication part, but you can also get into few real-time experiences to strengthen this. So the action on this is take one project or internship or any gig activity related to your plan A and start upskilling on plan ABC, which is what are the learnings that you need to have, what are the certifications, and start planning for that. So that's step 4. Moving on to the 5th step, which is you have to start searching for the jobs smartly. So Niranjan, I asked you a question because you volunteer. You said you have finished your final year. Do you have a list of companies that you're targeting?
Sir, I'm mainly targeting on because I have done internship in .NET MVC and C Sharp. So I'm targeting the companies which use that technology. For example, when I was applying for a job on LinkedIn or Naukri, first I'll search online which are the companies that are using this technology. So I'll type that name, search if there are any job opportunities, then I'll apply the same.
Okay. That is one way of doing it. But what the answer I was expecting is company A, company B, company C, company D. So, which is you should have your dream companies. You may still have it. Maybe you didn't answer it now. So, one way is to look at basis your skills, what are the jobs available and apply to all the companies, which is also required. But at the same time, each one of you should have your at least top 5 dream companies, which may be aligned to your skills, but you need to put an extra focus on those dream companies. What is that extra focus? Just going and applying on LinkedIn may not help in all cases because you have to see the process. When you apply on the LinkedIn, then it goes to the HR and it goes as a bulk. Then HR takes and they will apply some filters and they will select some and then share it to the people who are hiring for that role. and they will apply some filters and things happen. And many times it doesn't even move beyond HR. They just take the profiles from LinkedIn and then they leave it there. That is where if you have 5 dream companies, I need to find at least couple of people in that dream company who I can connect with and start exposing my interest, exploring what career opportunities are available. That's where LinkedIn plays an important role. And if you have alumni, your college or any alumni working in that company, you first need to target. You just go and see your profile, search for people, whoever studied in your college, who's working in your target company, you should immediately reach out to them. So you need to find first the target companies. What Niranjan explained is the jobs. That is another route where you target the jobs basis your skills. But the most effective way I have seen is focus on your dream companies or the target companies. Identify people who can influence. When I say influence, they'll not go and influence your hiring decision, but they can help you to get an opportunity for interview in that company. Yeah. So people of influence, and then you need to understand what is the selection approach in those target companies. Are they giving more weightage to a live coding test, or are they giving more weightage to the personality? If you see Amazon, they have a very different selection process. They focus on the leadership values. They ask questions around what you have done so far in your life, which aligns to their leadership values. So likewise, each company, they have their own selection process. So you need to understand that, create your resume aligned to that company. So what I'm saying is all additional effort for those dream companies. That is your strategic move. Then you can do what you're normally doing, which is you apply to all the companies, what you see in job portals. The response rate is very high in the option 1, where you have more targeted approach. The response rate on option 2 is limited. And even if you get a response, you give the interview, later you realize that the job is not 100% aligned to what you want to do and all those things. So that's why I want you to take this approach in addition to what you're doing. I know all of you are applying jobs to portals. That is standard we do. But I want you to create this strategic search, which you should be doing for your target companies. Right? So here, list your target companies, identify the alumni contacts, and understand what is the selection approach. And second action is set a LinkedIn routine. 10 minutes daily, you will connect with people related to that company. You comment on their post, you explore what the company is doing, so that even if you're getting an interview opportunity, you're able to talk the language of the company, which increases the chances of you getting into that job. Yeah. So that's primarily the STEPS framework. Just to recap, S stands for the foundation, which is deep dive into your stream. Look at the specializations. T stands for track the career paths within those specializations. E stands for envision your strategy, your plan ABC, your portfolio. P stands for preparation on skills. And S stands for strategic search. Right? This is the framework. Let me ask a question now. Do you think you all will be able to get a good job just by knowing this framework? So, knowledge is power is what people say, but that's not true.
Only if they
Applied,
implement.
applied knowledge is the actual power. So whatever you learned today, maybe some of you might already have done parts of this in the foundation bed, or some of you might have done this differently. But this is a proven framework, and I want you to take actions on this framework. And even if you take one action every day, as you can see on the image, if you take one action every day, you are growing faster, growing better, and that is the power of compounding, where the efforts gets compounded over a period of time. But if you're not doing anything, which is as good as staying stagnant, And when you're stagnant, when the world is moving forward, you're actually moving backward. So with that, I would encourage you to take at least one action. And it would be great if you start from this first stage, like yes, and take these steps towards to the last yes. And I'm sure you will get results out of your actions. So with that, Meera, I'll hand over to you and we can open the forum if there are any questions. But this is what I wanted to share today.
Okay. Great, great, awesome. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, as you can see, our students are not very responsive, other than Niranjan, who's been listening keenly. So, they have this recording also with them for them to run through the whole thing, because you've told quite a lot of things. It may need a little bit of more hand holding or rethinking on this whole steps, but it's been really insightful, Prasad. This will help them to start thinking on those lines and see. And there is one structure that you have given for them, how they
Yeah.
have to go about researching, how they have to plan, what kind of portfolio, what are the skills that they have to need, they have to keep adding. Otherwise, randomly they are upskilling. Their whichever course is available, they are doing whatever
Yeah.
internships they're getting. They're doing that, but it's not been happening very systematically. I think this will help them to come up with a better approach. And thanks for this.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure this framework will help. Even if people are not here on the call, whoever's watching this, they will have some key takeaways. And that one takeaway, one action will transform how they have been approaching. And I'm sure the results will be there. So
Yeah.
thanks for this opportunity. And thanks, Niranjan, for being here and
Thank you,
actively
sir.
participating. It was really nice to interact with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
Prasad. So I'll
Bye.
be in touch with you. And for specifically any students who need help, I'll be requesting a one-on-one with you, like how we can take this forward and see how you can, because you've been doing so much of research and updated research on what is happening currently in the field. So it would be really
Sure,
helpful.
definitely. Happy to help. Happy to help.
Okay. Thank you, Prasad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.